Hello folks, I'm back again for another paint table update. Today is it's a little bit more random than usual. There's a game I really like a lot that I don't get to play very often, and I'm trying to lure one of my friends in to play with me. It's called Pulp Alley, and it's a skirmish game. If you play Warhammer 40k or Gaslands or many of these other, or Frostgrave for that matter, you might be familiar with the genre. Now, Pulp Alley is typically set around the 1920s or 30s and stuff, but it can be morphed into virtually any kind of game. It was made thematically. It was made to be like the pulp novels. So think about like Tarzan, Solomon Kane, uh, you know, Dick Tracy, all that stuff, all those kind of themes in that time period and the magic of that. A lot of steampunk kind of stuff. It really lends itself well to this. All that was more Victorian. But it sort of works like a baseline gaming system where you can kind of apply anything to it. And I really want my buddy Owen to play some Pulp Alley games with me. So I asked him what his favorite theme was. He said sword and sorcery. And I said, well, all right, what kind of character do you see yourself playing? He goes, I'd like to be a dwarf monster hunter. I was like, okay, that's that's very specific. So I know exactly what he likes, and I've set apart gathering models from other games to create a Pulp Alley experience for him set in that genre. I actually haven't been super productive in the past couple of weeks, and I'm between box sets of games. I generally pick a game or a box set like the Dungeons and Lasers set, which is like just tons and tons of boxes, and I knocked that out. But I needed some dwarfs, so I broke into Zombicide Black Plague, and I got the dwarf that comes in the base set, as well as a couple of dwarfs from the external sets, of which I have many of them. And I got three pretty badass looking dwarves. Now this is probably enough to kind of start a war band. Just kind of a couple of cousins. So for now, I've chosen to leave their bases intact, and I just sort of did a blotchy camo green contrast paint, which I think makes a kind of a neat effect. It almost makes it look like grass in a way, and it's super super quick to do. It's something you can always dress up later or change later, but technically that base is painted and stuff. I decided I want some henchmen for him to fight also. And on the Pulp Alley website, I picked up this Frostgrave box set. These are Frostgrave Cultists, and there's 20 multi-part kits. The way this kit works is it's got you can mix and match. Let's see. I ended up making 5 henchmen. I figured that I'm gonna be adding some monsters and stuff, but I wanted some kind of generic bad guys, like a malevolent force to kind of work against that's more human. So I clipped out 5 of the 20 of these. The way it works is you've got you got 5 different torsos and various sets of arms with different weapons. You got swords and catapults and shields and bucklers. There's a bunch of different things here, and all of these torsos they have a base, like they have a small base on them. And I was just going to leave it at that. They also came with these round bases, like a couple of sets of these round bases. So you take that base and put it on there, and then you'd have, you got a lot of options. I decided, of course, that I didn't want the regular bases on there. I was just going to clip them and use the super Inviso bases. This is a product, again, from Pulp Alley, and they're just, they take a big hole punch and they punch through these clear plastic things and they bag them up. You can do this at home, too. My punchers are kind of cheap, so for the small ones that I use a lot, I usually buy them from Pulp Alley. And if I want to do it on a bigger monster, I look for other sprues or other blister packs that I can try to cut apart. So for the other bigger stuff, like for the Dungeons and Lasers things that I just made, I opt for a few of those bases that came with those sets, like the regular plastic bases versus the clear. But the clear ones are really neat. They make them blend into whatever environment that you set them in. I just kind of fell in love with those a while back, and I've been adding them to most of my new miniatures that I make that don't need a base for some other reason. The Frostgrave Cultist came out really well. I was really happy with the detail on them, and I love all the different heads that you can put on. There's like a really wide variety of faces and stuff. I didn't spend a lot of time on these guys to like really make them perfect. They got the kind of the really super basic contrast paint job, but boy, they painted up quick. I did all 5 of these in a night, and it was really no big deal while listening to a movie. Abbott Costello meets Frankenstein. That's what I watched while I painted these, and it still holds up. It's pretty good. So while I was kind of between projects, I wanted to get some other stuff done too. And actually, I painted some of these a while ago, but I painted the gnomes from the Sumo gnomes. There were just a couple of little 3D printed gnomes that came with the Kickstarter version of this. And I don't know if there's any other version of this, but those little 3D printed gnomes painted up really good, and I think they're going to add to this game. Also, Owen, the guy that comes over with me and hangs out all the time, has made me a can holder. So I've got this Hellboy face can holder, which I thought was really neat. It's fun to paint stuff at like so much bigger scale. Not that I did a whole lot. This is PVC 3D printed and stuff, and you can see the lines if you get in real close. But boy, from a distance, it really came out good. And it's got that whole. It'll fit a can perfectly. Well, not this can. This is kind of a big one. But you can take your soda can or fish food, I guess, and put it in there or hold a water bottle. It's actually kind of neat. Like if you had it out on a table for game night to kind of keep your drink from spilling over. Really, really strange and odd thing. Thank you, Owen. But I'm a huge Hellboy fan, so he printed it up for me, and I like it. Yeah, this Frostgrave miniature set, I got it off the Pulp Alley page. It's made by North Star Military Figures and in cooperation with Osprey Games. Now, I believe Osprey Games is the people that did Gasland, so Frostgrave is more than likely another version of a skirmish game that you can play. And perhaps I should look for that too, because it's pretty neat. But I really like these little cultists. They're perfect little baddies to add in to Pulp Alley. And folks, that's all I got for you this week. I'm feeling a little hoarse. All this sinus stuff going on, it's really slowing me down. But as soon as I pick up those paintbrushes again, I'll be back in the saddle and I'll show you what's going on. Until then, enjoy your games, and I'll see you soon.